Hi everyone, welcome to our next video on the level 4 certificate in education training. So we are focusing on unit 1, and this is question 1.1, which is to explain the role and responsibilities, explain the teaching role and responsibilities in education and training. So in this video, we would like for you to explain a minimum of 5 teaching roles and 5 teaching responsibilities. So the first part of the question is to explain a minimum of 5 teaching roles and to expand upon that. So how does each teaching role apply to your own current teaching role or training practice as well? So what we're looking for is for you to explain a minimum of 5 teaching roles. And we've just put some examples just on the screen there to help you. So a teaching role could be to be a teacher of your subject specialism, to be a facilitator, motivator, a role model, to be a planner, an assessor, evaluator, to be approachable, an innovator, and also a leader as well. So those are a range of different teaching roles. You can, of course, select any which are not featured there as well. So if you do find any more, then of course you can choose that. And what I've done is I've wrote the first example being a role model, and I will just explain to you my answer. And in terms of answering this question, we're expecting to see a paragraph of information as well. So think about, I would say 4 to 5 lines as a ballpark figure, just explaining, for example, you could choose a role model. What is a role model? And how do you demonstrate that you're a role model within your own teaching practice as well? So I will just explain my answer here. So a teacher should display good role model behaviors within their own practice and appearance. So think about yourself as a teacher. How do you show that you're a role model, excuse me? It could be your appearance. It could be obviously making good eye contact with your learners, colleagues, speaking clearly. And it's all to do with making a good first impression. So as a teacher, if you display a good first impression, this can help to gain trust, rapport, and build a positive relationship with the learner. A teacher should be dressed smartly and remain professional with all learners. So to be friendly, approachable, to treat all learners with dignity and respect, not to have favourite learners, of course. So all of those elements make up a good role model in my eyes. So as a teacher, you should be up to date with current subject knowledge and procedures, display self-awareness and integrity in practice. So you are a shining beacon for your teaching establishment, and also you're accountable to many people, such as your colleagues, stakeholders, all of those things. So you want to come across in a really positive manner as well. By demonstrating both good time management and communication skills, this will promote professionalism and trust with your class. At the beginning of every train aid course, I conduct an icebreaker to get to know learners and find out their motivations for the course and how I can support them with their qualification. So that's my example, doing an icebreaker. Another one could be time management as well. So arriving on time, setting up your classroom and welcoming learners to the class as well. So that's a good way of promoting yourself as a role model, essentially. So that would be my first answer. Obviously, I've done an example question there. Now I'm just going to think of some more. So if it was me, I'm just going to say a motivator. So you could choose a motivator if you wish, or go for something different. Next one, I will go for facilitator. That would be my third. An assessor. That's another key role. And my final one would be a planner as well. Okay, so I've just got my my first answer there, but I'm just going to talk you through the next the next one as well. So I won't type out the answer, but hopefully you can see the level of detail required. So what is a motivator then? So in my eyes, I think a motivator is a teacher who engages all of the class, creates quite a dynamic atmosphere. So all learners are fully engaged. They have a willingness to achieve the qualification. So a motivator is someone who really does get the best out of the learners. Their motivators typically make lessons interesting, vibrant. They have a lot of resources that they utilize within their training. All of their lessons have pace and purpose. They have up-to-date subject knowledge. Motivators, of course, they use praise and they understand what makes their learners tick in terms of their sort of engagement as well. So it's all to do with listening to learners, perhaps giving them some individual goals as well. Motivator, I quite like to have games, quizzes, competitions within my lessons to make the content interesting, and I often give out prizes as well. So hopefully using mobile phone apps such as Kahoot, Socrative, can really sort of buzz up a teaching environment, so it's more competitive, quite fun. I think that is a good hallmark of a teacher as well, to make learners engage through competition as well. So that would be my second one. Another one, another key role is to be a facilitator. So a teacher who is a facilitator sets up an activity within the classroom, and they challenge the learners to find out the answer of the activity. So teaching is not always one way. It's not always a lecture style. You can set up an activity and give perhaps a time limit for learners to work perhaps within small groups to complete a task. So a facilitator is someone who takes a step back, facilitates the learning process. So a facilitator perhaps reads the instructions to learners. Perhaps a facilitator will give the instructions or the rules for learners to follow, and takes a step back and gives perhaps a time frame of 30 minutes for learners to perhaps work on a task or a project or a presentation. And so it's very much a hands-off approach, but the teacher that is there as a supporter to answer any questions as well. So within our courses that we deliver, our trainers take on that facilitator approach, just to wander around the classroom to see lots of learning taking place. If learners need to get back on track, then the teacher or facilitator can give that one-to-one support to clarify any key points. But a facilitator, in my opinion, is a great role because it gets learners to think outside the box. They have the opportunity to put their own learning into practice, and it fosters things such as the minimum core, functional skills, all of those things. So I think a facilitator is a really important role there. My next one is an assessor. Okay, so as you can see, this is a very important role because during your courses or qualifications, you will need to arrange, you'll need to organize assessments. So assessments are a fantastic way to ensure that learners are meeting the overall course aim and objectives. So it's an opportunity to test your learners' knowledge and skills. So by being an assessor, you need to be objective. You need to be able to perhaps observe each of your learners and to complete perhaps an observation report. So you need to write down what you're observing and also to map the observation against some type of standards and criteria. So it's very important to be objective, not subjective, not to give the learners the answers, because that would be cheating. So by being an assessor, you have to prepare learners for the assessment. Of course, this could be through mock tests or role play simulations. So you're preparing the learner for the assessment. By being an assessor as well, you also need to arrange for assessments, such as setting a time, dates, sending out emails about the upcoming assessments as well. So by being an assessor, you're testing your learners' knowledge. It could be throughout the course, but at the end of the course through a summative assessment as well. So assessments can be done through observation. You can obviously do a professional discussion with learners, or furthermore, it could be a multiple choice or exam where you're marking learner work. So very important, the role of an assessor. My final role is a planner. Okay, so all teachers need to be good planners. They need to have lesson plans and schemes of work, so they're tracking learner progress, and they can see what are the aims and objectives of each lesson. Okay, so it's very important that throughout your course you're meeting your lesson aim and outcomes. Okay, and at the end of your course, you need to be confident that learners have achieved the overall skills, their understanding of the qualification. So learners are not leaving the classroom or course with gaps within their knowledge. So by having lesson plans and also a scheme of work, that can really help to identify what activities that you are going to deliver per course as well. And it also, by being a good planner, is that you can have different teaching and learning approaches or resources per each lesson. So making lessons interesting and vibrant as well. So you could be the best teacher in the world, but if your planning skills aren't great, then you might lose track of the course. You might forget where your learners are in terms of their course journey as well. So my advice is to have a scheme of work and lesson plans, so you can see where you're at within your course journey. So those are those 5 roles. You can choose any, of course. And just on to the responsibility. So just to continue with this question, you need to pick out 5 teaching responsibilities. So when we think about responsibilities, these are all about being accountable to your learners. So you're accountable to yourself, the teacher, you're accountable to your learners, accountable to your colleagues, and accountable to your organization and the awarding body as well. So teaching responsibilities could include meeting individual learner needs, meeting learning outcomes, health and safety of the learning environment, to be non-biased, promoting physical and emotional welfare, meeting deadlines, acting professionally, promoting a supportive learning environment to maintain records, and partaking in quality assurance processes, so attending standardization meetings as well. So we just need to continue. We need to come up with 5, and you can select any 5 featured within the template, or you can select 5 of your own. That's absolutely fine to do. So in regards to this table, we have responsibilities on the one side and an explanation of the responsibility, and to give examples from your own teaching role as well. So the first one I've gone for is quite a big one, is health and safety. So I'll just have a read of my answer. Once again, to meet the pass criteria, we are looking for typically a paragraph of information here. So a key responsibility of a teacher is to ensure a safe and secure teaching environment where learners are supported and relaxed. This will facilitate their learning and reduce distraction. So it's a good hallmark of any teacher to obviously arrive early at their classroom or teaching setting, to perhaps have a wander around the room, or even do a risk assessment. Is it a safe environment? There's no trip hazards. The environment is warm. It's not too cold, so you might need to adjust the temperature of the room. ICT, can you ensure that you know, your laptop or computer is all set up, and you perhaps might have a whiteboard like mine, and you need to have your slides on the board ready, so it's all nice and organized. Lighting as well, that the environment is well lit, the actual chairs are safe and secure. All of those things you need to take into consideration as well. So just to continue with my answer, prior to any teaching, a risk assessment should be conducted to ensure the classroom or learning environment is fit for purpose and that there are no risks which could harm learners. Okay, so we want learners to be relaxed. We want them to be able to focus on the lesson itself. So the teaching environment should be well lit, warm and comfortable and have no trip hazards. At the beginning of a new course, I always inform learners about the housekeeping, the ground rules and expectations as well. Okay, so that's one responsibility. Now I just need to come up with 4 more. So I'm just going to have a look at those. Okay, so I am going to say to be non-biased. Meeting deadlines is a very good one. So all about record keeping. Meeting deadlines. Meeting individual. And I think to maintain records. Okay, so I've got my 4, and once again, you can choose any, okay? And I will just explain to you my answers, but in terms of going forward, I would say, a paragraph per explanation is sufficient there. So to be non-biased, so a key responsibility for any teacher is to be objective and not subjective. It's all about being fair, honest, and providing adequate support to your learners. So it goes hand in hand with being obviously an objective assessor as well, that you're not influenced by any external factors. So there's no pressure to pass learners. So you have to be fair, non-biased, and therefore you're gaining the trust and respect of your learners. If you are subjective, or if you're perhaps being over providing sort of too much information to perhaps one specific learner, then the fellow learners in the class might feel that you're giving sort of too much information or attention to one learner, and that could really upset the learners within the group. So you need to be fair. You need to give enough time to each learner within that class as best as you can, okay? And therefore, I think checking in within the classroom with each of your learners shows that you're being fair, supportive, and I think that is really going to help gain the trust and respect of your learners. If you are biased, this could obviously lead to complaints, appeals, and that is going to really perhaps upset the group members. It could create a reputation which you don't want as a teacher. So always remember to be fair, non-biased, support each of your learners as well. Another key factor is meeting deadlines as well. So this is both inside the classroom and outside as well. So as we know with teachers, you've got a range of responsibilities such as marking learner work on time. It could be report writing. It could be providing reports to a manager about the progress of your learners and how they're progressing on the qualification as well. Furthermore, with meeting deadlines, it could be perhaps creating a new course. It could be the IV process. It could be that you need to IV learner work in preparation for a standardization meeting, just general administration as well. So it's not all about inside the teaching, is can you juggle your admin duties outside as well? So as a previous college teacher, I would be accountable to my managers, learners. I'd have to write reports to parents as well. So therefore, it's all about meeting deadlines. So yes, meeting your course deadlines as well, and getting your learners through and hopefully they pass their course. But there's many administration deadlines as well. So you have to be organized. You have to be quite critical with your time, and being able to meet a number of different deadlines. So I think that's really important, especially with the running of a teaching establishment with meeting deadlines. Another key responsibility is meeting individual learner needs. So as we know, each learner is unique with the way that they learn, and therefore it's important to cater for each of your learners, to adapt with reasonable adjustments so you can make adaptations to resources, your assessment methods as well. So through initial assessments, we can get to know our individual learners' needs, and therefore we can make changes to our course, such as the environment, the time, accessibility arrangements as well. So it's about being flexible, a good listener, and trying to adapt the way that you teach. It could be asking questions in a different manner, okay? As mentioned before, making adaptations or arranging for additional support, such as having perhaps an interpreter, translator, adjusting assessment. So you could have a laptop provided to the learner instead of handwriting if they have perhaps a hand injury or a poor writing style. So it's about being adaptable, flexible, listening to the learner voice, listening to their previous learning experiences and making reasonable adjustments there. Final one is just going back to administration again, is to maintain records. Okay, so as we talked about meeting deadlines, another key hallmark of a good teacher is to maintain records. So we do this for a number of reasons. So one of the main reasons we maintain record is evidence. Okay. So we maintain records of marked learner work. So if there is like an appeal, then you've got the paperwork there. If an investigation takes place, for example, so you say, this is my learner work, I've marked this on time, this was my opinions and thoughts. We also maintain records for evidence as well. So if learners are obviously going on to kind of the next level, then we've got the paperwork to prove that they've passed the course. We maintain records for quality assurance activities. So with IQA or standardization meetings, we perhaps share marking of learner work. So you need accurate records for those meetings. With inspections as well, so EV inspections, they might sample learner work, and therefore by maintaining records, you can provide an EV with a sample of your learner work as well. So by being organized and maintaining records is a fantastic way of ensuring that you are fulfilling your responsibility as a teacher. Okay, so those are my 5 different examples there. And so once again, try and aim for a paragraph of information and do talk about your own experiences there. Okay, but in terms of this video, for 1.1, we're looking at 5 roles, 5 responsibilities, and yeah, of course, you can include your own roles and practical examples there. Thank you so much for watching. Level 4 CET Unit 1 and Criteria 1.1. Please do like the video. Any questions, please feel free to ask. I hope this assignment video has been useful, and I look forward to seeing you on our next video. Take care.